Hello everyone and welcome back to another Hard Count podcast, and today I'm going to be giving you guys my 2022 mock draft. Just a disclaimer, this mock draft is what I would do if I was the GM of all 32 teams. Who would I pick in the first round? What do I believe is best for each team? So don't be complaining to me if a pick is not what you think they're going to do, because that's not what I care about in this mock draft. Now, real quick, before we get into the video, I just want to remind you guys to hit that subscribe button, as it would really mean a lot to me. So thank you guys for that. Without further ado, let's get right into the draft with the first pick, the Jacksonville Jaguars, who I have selecting Evan Neal, offensive tackle out of Alabama. And a theme in this draft, in this mock draft, is going to be supporting the young quarterbacks. And what better way to do that here than with Evan Neal, who can be that franchised left tackle for Trevor Lawrence, who was always constantly under pressure. Now, I know they just extended Cam Robinson. We'll see. Maybe that changes how this pick actually goes, but I still would really like to see that cornerstone guy on the offensive line to help support Trevor Lawrence in this offense. He's big, he's quick, he's a great athlete for his size. He can do it all. He can be that franchise left tackle for the Jags. So Evan Neal, number one, I think that's the way to go. Protect Trevor Lawrence. Then at number two, the Lions take Kayvon Thibodeaux, who to me is the best edge prospect in the draft. I know that has become a more and more unpopular opinion as time has gone on. People are talking about AIDAN Hutchinson. People are talking about Travon Walker. But I think people are forgetting about Kayvon Thibodeaux a little bit. To me, this guy's explosiveness, his speed is off the charts. I really like what he can do in all aspects of the game. As a pass rusher, he's very helpful in the run game. His bend is great. Kayvon Thibodeaux has really all the traits to be a great pass rusher in the NFL. And, you know, there's some things here and there he could develop a little bit more pass rush moves, but I really like what he could add to this Lions defense right away and in the foreseeable future. So again, some people have the Lions taking quarterback here. I think they build from the bottom up, get that cornerstone edge rusher, Kayvon Thibodeaux, who to me is the best in the draft. Then at number three, I have the Houston Texans taking Aidan Hutchinson, who, for many, this is lower than he actually goes, but that is to me nothing against Aidan Hutchinson. I really think he is a great player. He's able to shed blocks very well. He has a lot of great pass rush moves, a versatile skill set coming into the league. He is a good athlete. Now, there's not too many knocks on him. To me, he's not the freakiest athlete in the class. He's not the guy with the highest upside, but he still does have a lot of upside. He is a good athlete. I would like to see a little bit more bend occasionally from him, but overall, Aidan Hutchinson is a great player. The Texans, once again, a team that needs to build from the bottom up. They've got another pick in the first round. Let's go Aidan Hutchinson. Once again, get that cornerstone for their defense. Then the Jets with the fourth pick. We're continuing the theme here. Get Zach Wilson, EKWONU out of NC State, who to me is the second best offensive tackle in this class. You know, we've had two offensive tackles and two edge rushers go off the board. I think this is actually very realistic to happen in the actual draft. No quarterbacks at the top. We've seen it before. 2013, the top of that draft was dominated in the trenches. I think we could see it again here. And again, going along with my theme, protect Zach Wilson. Build more and more on that offensive line. Make him comfortable. Put pieces around him to help him succeed. That's how you build an offense and dig a team out from being one of the worst in the league, like the Jets are right now. Give Zach Wilson an opportunity to shine and show his talent. So, EKWONU, great run blocker, big, powerful. He can be the guy for the Jets. Then at number five, the first real controversial pick of the draft, in my opinion, the Giants take Malik Willis, quarterback out of Liberty. And I know, what about Daniel Jones? Aren't they all in? Well, maybe the Giants are, but I'm not. Daniel Jones, to me, is not the answer for the Giants. I think we've seen what he's going to be. And when I look at what the Giants have done this offseason, they brought in Brian Dable. it reminds me a lot of the Bills, who Brian Daboll did bring Josh Allen from being a very raw prospect to being one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, taking a raw, elite prospect of a player and turning him into something great with an offense built around it. That's what Brian Daboll did. The Giants hired Brian Daboll, and guess what? They have an opportunity to take that kind of Josh Allen-esque player in Malik Willis, the raw prospect, the guy that has freakish ability, one of the best arms instantly in the NFL, a really great arm, able to make all of the throws on the move. Just Malik Willis has a crazy arm. He's able to move very well. His legs are great. He's very shifty, able to break tackles. And to me, running for a quarterback is all about not even speed, pure speed. It's about, can you make guys miss? How is your vision down the field? And Malik Willis can do that all very well. He's got all the tools to be great. And I think Brian Daboll in this offense could really start to pull that out of him. And the Giants need upside on offense. Malik Willis could give it to them. Yes, he's raw. Yes, he needs to develop in an NFL system. He's got to be able to move through reads better. He's got to make sure that he's able to make better decisions and not just make erratic throws, which was often a problem for him at Liberty. But that was also a problem for a guy like Josh Allen. I think that these things can be fixed. I talk about this all the time. I love talent at the quarterback position, and Malik Willis is the definition of a talented quarterback. Put him in the right system, and he can be a franchise changer. And I think we could see that with the Giants at number 5. Don't pass up on the opportunity to really get a game changer. Then, number 6, the Panthers. I have taking Matt Corral, who to me is the second best quarterback in the class. Now, Kenny Pickett is very close, but I am a big fan, once again, of what I just said, talent. And Matt Corral has it. If you know me here on the channel, you know that I love guys that can throw at all arm angles, make throws all over the field, that are really loose with their motion. Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Zach Wilson, those kinds of guys are who I really think can be the best in the NFL. Matt Corral is that kind of guy. Matt Corral's motion is fluid, it's quick, he's got the quick release, he's able to release it at all arm angles. He is a very good athlete, able to move very well, and to me, it's the second best talent in this class, and that's why I have him as the second best quarterback. You know, we talked about Malik Willis and his raw things that are going to have to translate and grow in the NFL. The same thing applies to Matt Corral. Matt Corral was in a offense that helped him out a lot of RPOs at Ole Miss. That is not going to be always the case in the NFL. Things are going to change. He's going to have to really work on being able to run an NFL offense, move through reads. And to go along with that, I think there's some refinement that could happen in the pocket. His footwork, his ability to sense pressure, I think all could be a little bit better. I think just the fluidity of his game, being comfortable moving out of the pocket, throwing on the run, making that tight window throw. These are things I look for that need to grow and develop from Matt Corral as he enters the NFL. I definitely think he can do it, and I think he's a very exciting young quarterback prospect. The Panthers could really use him. They need an answer at quarterback. And I think number 6 overall here is a great opportunity to get that here in Matt Corral. I understand a lot of people are lower on Matt Corral than I am, but I just see the high-end talent that reminds me a lot of the best players in the NFL. Right now, I can't pass up on it here at number 6 if I'm the Panthers. Then at number 7, we got the Giants once again, but now they're taking Charles Cross, again continuing the theme of supporting the young quarterback, except this time it's the guy they just took in Malik Willis. Get the best pass protector, the best pure pass protector in this class, who has a lot of experience at Mississippi State playing in NFL passing concepts and doing a great job as a pass protector. Get Malik Willis a piece to grow. That's what he's going to need. He's going to need protection. And to me, Charles Cross could really help out this Giants offensive line. Then at number 8, the Falcons. I have taken Travon Walker, who for many, this is a lot lower than they have them going, as Travon Walker could very well be the number 1 pick in this year's draft. But I'm not quite as sold on Travon Walker as some of the other people are in the NFL community. I still believe he's very good. I still believe he's a top 10 pick. His talent is off the charts. He's a freakish athlete. He's a great helper in the run defense game. He could really develop as a pass rusher. But to me, I just don't see the fluidity in his game right now. I don't think the bend is quite as elite as some of the other guys in this class. He's not as powerful as some of the other guys. I think that there are a lot of things that he needs to work on, and I think he can do it. I still believe he's a top 10 pick. The Falcons, many would consider get a steal here, and I think he very much could return some great value here at pick 8 if he turns out to be what I think he could be at the NFL level. Then, number 9, the Seahawks are going Jermaine Johnson out of Florida State, and really, I considered taking a quarterback here. My top 2 quarterbacks off the board, but the Seahawks really do need a quarterback. I think, though, this is another team that's going to be getting low draft picks, at least next year, if they do not have a quarterback. So why not build from the trenches up, get Jermaine Johnson, who is a big, physical, strong athlete at the edge position, who many people have going higher than this. He's a very good athlete. To me, his upside isn't quite the same as a guy like Travon Walker, Kayvon Thibodeau, Aidan Hutchinson, but I do believe he can still be very, very good, very sound. He can help out well in the run game. Jermaine Johnson can be kind of that cornerstone guy that can kick off this Seahawks defense again. So I pick 9. I think Jermaine Johnson would be a very great pickup for the Seahawks. There's a lot of ways they could go. They need a lot of help in a lot of places, but go with the place that really is the cornerstone of the defense and get your guy there in Jermaine Johnson. Then at number 10, the Jets, I have them taking Jameson Williams out of Alabama, my wide receiver 1 in this class. And once again, continuing the theme of building around the young quarterbacks as the Jets build around Zach Wilson even more. We all know they were in contention for Tyreek Hill. They wanted that speed guy. They wanted that do-it-all guy. They want to improve their wide receiver room. And Jameson Williams is a perfect way to do so. He's explosive, fast, great route runner. To me, his tape is the best in this class, and it's not particularly close. I'm not too worried about the injuries. Jameson Williams is an amazing all-around wide receiver, would give Zach Wilson a day 1 threat. And him, EKWONU, and Jameson Williams could do a lot of great things for this Jets offense. I'd be very excited to see this pick in New York. So Jameson Williams there for the Jets. Then at number 11, the Washington football team, I have taking Kyle Hamilton, who to me is one of the better prospects in this class. I'm not really too worried about his 40 times. I don't think the 40 is as important for a safety. It's a lot about instincts. It's a lot about reading what is going to happen on offense, and Kyle Hamilton is great at it. He's great at exploding to the play, as I'd like to say, kind of diagnosing what's happening and getting to where he needs to be, and that is what really matters as a safety. It's kind of like a thing that Derwin James would do for the Chargers, diagnosing a play and making one happen, and that's what Kyle Hamilton can do for you. Washington could use help on the back end, back in safety. They really need to return this defense to the defense it was just a couple years ago when we all thought it was one of the best in the league, even though it struggled mightily this year, let us all down. Kyle Hamilton, I think, could really help out this defense. So then at number 12, I have the Vikings taking Derek Stingley Jr. And to me, this is great, great value for the Vikings here at 12 because Derek Stingley is one of the best players in the class, one of the most talented, and the only reason to me that I didn't pick him before this is I think cornerback is a little bit of a difficult prospect to scout. I think I like building from the trenches, with those edge rushers, those offensive tackles. I think that it's a better way to build your team because those are kind of the cornerstones of each in the trenches. The cornerback position is one that is very hard to draft. Guys can do really well right out of the gate or inexplicably just not work out. So that's why I have corners going a little bit later here. But Derek Stingley to me is absolutely fantastic. I think he is one of the most talented players in this class, a freak athlete, just a great all-around cornerback, can play in a press coverage system, can really do whatever you ask of him. And we all talk about it. We all have heard it. The freshman tape was elite for Derek Stingley, and it just wasn't the same those next couple of years. You know, he got injured. His whole team basically left. There was a lot of things wrong in the life of Derek Stingley. I think he will be very excited to come into the NFL, show what he can do. We've seen the top end, and that's what I like to look for in a corner. What can you be? That's what I like to look for in a prospect, as we'd see with Malik Willis. And I think that I look at that here with Derek Stingley, and it's just something you cannot pass up on here at number 12. The Vikings need that cornerback one. Could use a cornerback with athleticism, length, great cover ability, and that is Derek Stingley here at number 12. Then at number 13, we've got the second cornerback off the board in a row. I've got the Texans taking Ahmad Sauce Gardner out of Cincinnati. He's my cornerback too. And a lot of people have gotten very excited about Ahmad Gardner, what he could be after what he did in college, putting up some crazy numbers, really not letting up anything on the defensive side of things. He's got some great one-on-one man coverage ability to shadow a receiver. He's not as great of an athlete to me as Stingley is, but he's just very fluid. He's great at shadowing a receiver, and I think he can be a day one impact player for whoever drafts him. And again, Texans need to build up from the bottom. They got AIDAN Hutchinson earlier. I think it'd be another slam dunk to go and grab Ahmad Gardner at 13. Really get two studs on the defensive side of things to build from here on out. Then at number 14, I have the Baltimore Ravens taking Jordan Davis out of Georgia, who to me is actually one of the best players in this class. Just straight up, no one has ever seen anything like Jordan Davis come out of the draft before. Nobody's been that big and that athletic. And to me, this just feels like such a Ravens pick. We know Ravens like taking the big school players, the Oklahoma, the LSU, the Alabama guys. We know the Ravens like taking those big school players. And Jordan Davis from Georgia, he's one of those guys. Then we also know the Ravens like taking the biggest guys on the planet. Their defensive line always has the 300-pound guys that are huge, and Jordan Davis fits that perfectly. He's the biggest dude we've seen come out of the draft in a while. He's massive, perfect for the Ravens, and the Ravens aren't afraid to take a shot on a toolsy but raw player. We saw it with Away last year. I think we could see it again here. A guy who is a freak athlete, didn't necessarily have the production in college, but he will be a guy that can help out in the run game, and hopefully with that freak athleticism develop into a freakish pass rusher as well. Ravens take Jordan Davis there at 14. Then at 15, I have the Eagles taking Garrett Wilson out of Ohio State. And I think the Eagles are in an interesting spot here because they have two picks, one at 15, one at 18. When do you take what position of need? And I think that the Eagles go with Garrett Wilson here, get that wide receiver, because I think the teams in between the Eagles pick now and their next pick are more likely to take a wide receiver than, say, a cornerback. So I think Garrett Wilson is my wide receiver too. He's all around. He's a good athlete. He's a good route runner. And I'm not worried about his production being because of Ohio State. He is a good athlete. He's able to create separation. He's smooth with his hips. I like a lot of things Garrett Wilson can do all around the field. So to me, he's the second best receiver in this class. I think the Eagles could really use that second guy behind DeVonte Smith. Two great young wide receivers developing together. and create a very good wide receiver duo. So I like Garrett Wilson here to the Eagles. I think that's a great pick. Then at number 16, I have the Saints taking Kenny Pickett, quarterback out of Pitt. And to me, Kenny Pickett is my quarterback 3. I really do like Kenny Pickett. Now I know, Spencer, you always talk about talent. Kenny Pickett isn't the definition of a talented guy. He's more of the NFL ready type. Yeah, but just because you're NFL ready, just because you don't have the best arm in the world, doesn't mean you can't be a very good quarterback in this league. Look at Joe Burrow. And to me, Kenny Pickett does remind me a little bit of Joe Burrow because I really like the way he can extend a play. I think he's very comfortable throwing on the run. He has a pretty quick release. He is a good, accurate quarterback in those short to intermediate areas. He has some great pocket presence, ability to understand when to move out of the pocket and find something down the field. So to me, I really like that all well. He's able to extend plays because of that. Yes, his arm is not special. It's not one of a kind like a Malik Willis. But he's able to move. He can make a good amount of throws. And he can extend plays. That's what I like from Kenny Pickett. There is a lot of good things. He stays poised. Now, yes, maybe Kenny Pickett doesn't have that talent to be a top 3 quarterback one day. But he does have the talent to be a very, very good one. And I think that is very valuable in the NFL. Kenny Pickett here for the Saints, a team that needs a new quarterback, needs a change, needs someone like Kenny Pickett to come in who can be NFL ready, be that guy to take over. I really like this fit. They need that young quarterback. Kenny Pickett can be that. I think he does remind me of a little bit of a Joe Burrow in that way of extending a play, not being the freakiest guy, but Kenny Pickett can do it. So I like Kenny Pickett there to the Saints at 16. Then at number 17, I have the Chargers taking Devonte Wyatt. They really, really need some help on the interior. Their defense was absolutely torn apart by the run game last year. Just run it up the middle with ease. And they need a big dude who can really reassure that run game. And Devonte Wyatt is a guy who can do that. We saw his teammate Jordan Davis go off the board just a few picks earlier. And I think Devonte Wyatt is almost as good as Jordan Davis is. You know, he's very going to be pro ready. He's able to create as a pass rusher and does a nice job stuffing holes for the run. I really like what Devonte Wyatt could do here for this Chargers defense, filling a need and a great player in Devonte Wyatt. Then the Eagles, with their second pick of the first round, take Trent McDuffie out of Washington. And I could really see this going with Andrew Booth or McDuffie, but to me, the Eagles kind of already have that boundary athletic guy who's going to cover that wide receiver 1 in Darius Slay. Trent McDuffie is more of their nickel guy. He's going to be one of the better nickel corners if he plays in that role, I think, relatively quickly in the NFL. I think he can translate into that role very well. He's a good athlete. You know, the size is a question, but he's a very, very fluid mover around the field. Great ability to mirror his receiver. The Eagles could use some help. Get that cornerback too. Continue to build this team. They've got 2 picks. Why not take it on a wide receiver and a cornerback? I like Trent McDuffie a lot as a guy that can kind of fill another corner role on that defense and really lock up the air for the Eagles. Then, number 19, I have the Saints taking Trevor Penning out of Northern Iowa. And to me, I think this would really give the Saints the offensive tackle that they need. I think they need a young guy who can come out and develop into something great. And that is what Trevor Penning is. He is definitely a little bit of a question mark in regards to he played at Northern Iowa and maybe not be the most refined guy, but he is powerful. He overpowers guys. I think he can do that in the NFL as well. He is a mauler. He's huge. He has nice feet for being a guy as big and powerful as he is. I just think the Saints could really benefit from having a guy like Trevor Penning on their team. So the Saints go with Trevor Penning at number 19. Then at number 20, I have the Steelers taking Sam Howell out of UNC. Get their future quarterback, hopefully. Now, Sam Howell, to me, has very slept-on upside. I think he does have a good arm. He is a good athlete. I really like what he can become. Sam Howell made a lot of NFL-level throws in college, down the field, especially when he had a guy like De'Ami Brown, a dynamic playmaker. Yes, that wasn't really there for him last year, but he is a big-time thrower of the football. He can really sling it downfield. The deep ball is very good. Now, there is some raw with what you're going to get with Sam Howell. To me, his motion is not great. It's a little bit slow. I think that some of his throws don't get full power. Some of them just don't really get a ton of drive on him, a ton of power. I'd like to see it. I know he can do it. It's just not really always there. Just the comfortability, fluidity of his game, being able to be confident and make the throw when he needs to make it, is something I think Sam Howell needs to work on in the NFL. But again, he is a good runner of the football. He is a good passer down the field. He does have a pretty good arm. I think that we're looking at a quarterback who can be very good in the NFL. And again, I'm a big fan of taking a quarterback in the first round. I think the Steelers would be very smart to do this. See what you have in a guy like Sam Howell. If he works out, great. If not, you wait another year and you get another guy. Sam Howell to the Steelers. The Steelers get their quarterback in Sam Howell. My quarterback 4. Then, number 21, the Patriots take Devin Lloyd. And this just seems like such a Patriots pick to me. Take the athletic linebacker, the guy that fits the modern mold, super athletic. Take the guy that gives Bill Belichick a great, versatile piece on his defense that can fly over the field, make a lot of tackles, disrupt plays. That's what Devin Lloyd is. Pretty simple. Devin Lloyd to the Patriots. Then, number 22, I've got the Packers taking Christian Watson out of North Dakota State. This is one of my guys in this draft. I love the ability that Christian Watson brings to the table. He is very, very intriguing as we all know what he did at the combine. He's huge, 6'4", runs crazy fast. The athlete is what I look for. Not many receivers come out of the draft having that type of size and athleticism combination. People are like, well, yes, speed doesn't translate to success in the NFL. I agree. But when we look at guys with that size and speed, it usually translates to success. DK Metcalf, a guy like Mike Evans, a guy like Julio Jones, a guy like even a Chase Claypool, who has had relatively good success for where he was drafted at. Size and speed go a long way in the NFL, and Christian Watson has it. It was a little weird to see him at North Dakota State, where his competition was not the best, and it's a little bit hard to gauge that with receivers, but we know the speed is there. We've seen the numbers. I believe it. I think it can translate to the NFL. I love the athlete. The Packers desperately need a wide receiver. They are looking to compete this year. Give Aaron Rodgers a freaky athlete here in Christian Watson to try to replace what Davante Adams brought to this offense. Christian Watson here at number 22 for the Packers. They get their wide receiver that they are now missing with Davante Adams. Then at number 23, I have the Cardinals taking George Karlaftis. I could see a cornerback here, but I like what they have at corner. I like Marco Wilson. I think he can continue to grow. So I think let's go edge rusher here. I think we get George Karlaftis, who is one of the better players on the board at this point. I think they could really use some talent across from J.J. Watt on that edge. George Karlaftis is big. He's powerful. He's strong. He's able to overpower defenders. I think he could really work in this scheme opposite of J.J. Watt, I like what he could do here for the Cardinals. Give me George KARLAFTIS, really help better that defense. Then at number 24, the Cowboys, I have taking Daxton Hill, safety out of Michigan. Now, there was a lot of ways I could have gone here for the Cowboys, but I still think this secondary does need help in regards to yardage, and Daxton Hill can be that. He can be that guy that can really play a lot of roles back there. He can be that corner if you need him to be even. He can even play in a little bit up in the box as a linebacker role. Allow Micah Parsons to kind of play edge a little bit more. I think that he could be very useful in that way for the Cowboys. So Daxton Hill, I think, would be a very valuable, maybe not the most flashy pick here for a team that we know loves flashy, but Daxton Hill could be versatile and a great piece on that defense. So Daxton Hill there, 24 to the Cowboys. Then at number 25, I have the Buffalo Bills taking Andrew Booth out of Clemson. This to me is a great pick. I think Andrew Booth is definitely a mid first round type of guy. So getting him here at 25 would be very good. You know, he's long, he's athletic, he can be that man-to-man corner. I like guys that are lanky and are able to shadow their receivers well and break up passes. That's what Andrew Booth can do. He is that man coverage corner. He is that outside boundary guy. I think he could really add to this Bills secondary on a team that's trying to win now and in the future. I think Andrew Booth would be a great addition to that secondary. Then at number 26, I have the Titans taking Chris Olave out of Ohio State, who I definitely think is a first-round talent. I think the route running is great. His ability to separate is definitely great. And I think people underrate his ability to be quick and fast and have that long speed. I think he is a fast guy. He can get open down the field. He can get open in the short game. He's quick. He's a good route runner. All around, he's good. Now, he is a little bit on the smaller side as a receiver, but I think he can separate well enough, is fast enough to the point where he will be okay. And you may be asking, why are the Titans taking a wide receiver? They've got A.J. Brown. They've got Robert Woods. Well, I think, one, we've heard kind of talks about A.J. Brown potentially being on the move at some point. I don't know. So if he is, they are going to need someone. So Chris Olave can be that. And then secondly, this is a team that I think we all think is trying to win now with Ryan Tannehill. And we've seen the importance of having wide receivers, having wide receiver depth. And that could not be more true than with a guy like Ryan Tannehill, who is kind of that take what the system gives you kind of quarterback. He's the guy that's going to make the throws. So when you get three guys that can separate, you've got an A.J. Brown, you've got a Robert Woods, and you've got a Chris Olave that he's throwing to, that's when that offense can really start to be dangerous. So I like the idea of a Chris Olave here for the Titans in a win-now mode, and potentially for the future if A.J. Brown decides to leave. Then, at number 27, I've got the Buccaneers taking Tyler Linderbaum. Not too much to say here. The Bucs are in win-now mode. Tom Brady's back. They're missing a guy on the interior. Get Tyler Linderbaum, who is a great prospect on the interior. Pretty sure thing. Can come in day one, and that's what the Bucs need. So, easy pick there for me. Buccaneers take Tyler Linderbaum. Then at number 28, I have the Packers taking Treylon Burks, wide receiver out of Arkansas. And I know the Packers taking two wide receivers here. They have so many needs they could fill. Why wide receiver twice? Well, to me, I've talked about already on this podcast the importance of wide receiver depth, the importance of having multiple guys in winning in the NFL. You know, we saw the Bengals with Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. The year before that, we had Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. And then we had Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill. Receiving weapons are so important in the NFL in winning. The Packers are in win now mode with Aaron Rodgers. They need to win. And just having one guy who we don't even know is going to be good in Christian Watson is not going to be enough. Take two guys. Take Treylon Burks. Take another guy. Give yourself those weapons that potentially could win you a championship. Because right now, I don't think the Packers have that, even with Aaron Rodgers. So I really think two wide receivers is the best move here for the Packers. Get them in the win now mode. Treylon Burks is versatile. You know, a lot of people are comparing him to Deebo Samuel. I don't know if I can go there. No one is Deebo Samuel. But I mean, with the ball in his hands, he's very good. He's very shifty. He is a great, great player. I like Treylon Burks a lot. He's fast. Very fun addition to this Packers offense. I'd be very interested to see what he and Aaron Rodgers could do in that Packers offense. Then at number 29, I have the Chiefs taking Drake London here. Now, Drake London is not my favorite player in this draft. I do think he can be good. I think there are some redeeming qualities to Drake London's game. He is a good route runner. He is big. He's a big-bodied guy. He has some good contested catch skills. My worry at the NFL level, though, I do not think he is a top 10 pick. Definitely do not. Because, really, he's not a separator. He's not going to be able to just body people like he was in college. You can't just toss it up against an NFL corner and expect a 6'4" guy to catch it. That's not going to happen. So he's not really too much of a separator with speed. I think the Chiefs do really need a wide receiver here. And I was debating here between Drake London, Jahan Dotson were the two guys that I was going back and forth between. Initially, I was kind of leaning towards Jahan Dotson. I like the speed, replace Tyreek Hill. But I think I don't want to get too caught up in the speed narrative for the Chiefs. They already have speedy guys in their depth chart, and you don't need all speed. Drake London can still win. He can win with route running. You get him in an Andy Reid offense that knows how to use him, knows how to send him on a route where he can win with his route running, send him on a route that he can win and not just try and throw it up to him 10 yards down the field and have him body whatever corner he's going to play. I think you can get a lot out of Drake London. I'm a little worried about the speed, but I think the Chiefs would be a good place for him to utilize him correctly. I don't think he's a top 10 pick, but I would be very happy ending up with Drake London at the end of the first round. Then we have the Chiefs going with Kaiir Elam from Florida. I think the Chiefs really could use some help in the secondary. I think they need some more versatility back there, some more options on the back end. It's such a pass-heavy AFC right now. You got the Chargers in that division. You got the Chargers. You've got the Raiders with Derek Carr and Devontae Adams. You've got the Broncos with Russell Wilson and that receiving corps. You really need to beef up your secondary. I think Kaiir Elam is a great way to do this. Very, very fluid corner. He has great hips. Maybe he's not quite the top athlete of a guy that some of the guys earlier taken, like a Derek Stingley. But I do think he is still a pretty good athlete that can shadow in man or zone well. And I think the Chiefs do like to mix it up. I think he would be able to do that for them in that defense. So I think this would be a good pick. Help get them some help on the back end in a division where they will need it. So then at number 31, I have the Bengals taking Zion Johnson, interior offensive lineman out of Boston College. And Zion Johnson is just going to be that plug-and-play, fill-in guy for that Bengals offensive line that they desperately needed, that showed that they needed in the Super Bowl when they were just getting torched, in the playoffs when they were just getting torched. Get Zion Johnson, help protect Joe Burrow, really make that offense just that much better by giving Joe Burrow a little bit extra time. So then, at number 32, Lions. I debated going quarterback here, but I've talked about it with the Seahawks. I've talked about it with the Texans. Some teams that I think will get very low picks next year just do not need to take a quarterback. And the Lions are one of those teams. They are going to be very bad again. Build from the bottom up. They took Kayvon Thibodeau earlier in the draft. That's their edge guy. now get their secondary guy in Lewis Cine out of Georgia. And Lewis Cine really could help out this back end. I think that the Lions have a lot of talent. They have Okudah. We don't really know. Hopefully we can see him unlock his full potential. But the Lions secondary is getting torched last year. They need a guy that can really help on the back end. Cine can do that. He's versatile. He's quick. He can move around the field well. I like what he could add to this Lions defense. You get two great pieces on that defense. Help build up that defense for next year when you have maybe the chance to take a quarterback very early in the draft, and a quarterback class that generally people would agree is better than this year's. So those are all 32 picks. Let me know what you thought down below in the comments. That's a lot of time, a lot of energy watching these players. So let me know who you want your favorite team to draft, who you think they should draft. And yeah, so thanks for watching, and until next time, peace.